Well, hello everybody. Once again to another one of our In Conversation series where we're talking all matters health and care across the UK. I'm delighted today to be joined by Mclaughlin, who is Deputy Director for Innovation and Growth in the Office for Life Sciences, and we'll explain what that is in a minute. So Alex, thanks for joining us. And we're going to spend some time today having a little look at the Life Science Vision, which was published back in the summer, and we were recording this midway through February 2022. So before we get started on the sort of meat of it, I always ask this question, people are interested. Alex, just tell us a little bit about your background and maybe a little word about what the Office for Life Sciences is. It's not always an easy construct to get your hands across, is it?
No, indeed. And Richard, it's great to be here with you today. So a little background on me. So I'm a sort of policy civil servant by background, but I've worked around life sciences and innovation policy in government for the last 6 or 7 years. That's included running a vaccine development programme for Chris Whitty, advising ministers on a whole range of life science policy. And for the last 2 years, I've been working in the Office for Life Sciences, latterly focused on developing the life science vision, and then more recently, innovation and growth, which in practice means two things. First, it's about getting the best new products into the NHS as quickly and as efficiently as we can. And secondly, delivering a set of healthcare missions that were set out in the life science vision. In terms of what OLS is, essentially, it is the life science and the medtech sectors representative in government. So we sit across the business department and the health department. And we make sure the views of medtech businesses and the medtech sector more broadly are understood and reflected in policy, not just in business policy, not just in health policy, but in the way we approach a whole suite of policy across government.
That's great. Thanks. It's a great resource for the UK. It's probably worth pointing out. I think I'm right. It certainly was when it was started. It was unique anywhere in the world, in fact. And I think other jurisdictions do look at us with some kind of little bit of envy at the really positive and healthy relationship government and officials. The positive and healthy relationship you and I have, for example. So that's always worth noting. So Alex, tell us a little bit before we dive into the missions. Tell us a little bit about the life science vision, its background, where it came from. What are you hoping to achieve from it?
Yeah, so the life science vision was published in July last year. It was commissioned personally by the Prime Minister, and essentially it came out of his reflections on the pandemic response, where the life science sector was absolutely fundamental and played a globally leading role in making sure we got through the pandemic and that we sit here in February 2022 and there is a path out of the pandemic. And really what it was trying to do is put his personal stamp on the sector and make sure that policy across government was really focused on driving and supporting the sector to grow and to flourish. We ended up with 4 different chunks of the vision. First, trying to sort of drill down and continue to further our excellent science and research infrastructure. Secondly, trying to work with the NHS to be much better at a national and a local level at embracing new technology, embracing innovation at a population scale. A third element about improving the business environment for life science firms. So everything from manufacturing grants to regulation post-Brexit to making sure firms have access to high skilled workers. And then the fourth element was a set of healthcare missions, where essentially the PM wanted to kind of bottle the spirit of the vaccine task force and apply it to some other very entrenched disease areas that cause a lot of burden and pressure on the NHS and a lot of morbidity and mortality.
Great. So I think it's worth pointing out, Alex, as well, isn't it, that we stopped probably talking about industrial strategy, even though it is sort of in the title of one of the departments you serve. But not every sector's got a vision, has it? It's worth stressing that some really high potential sectors were called out, and the life sciences are one of them.
Yeah, that is absolutely the case. And the plan is to have 4 visions for 4 really high productivity, high performing parts of the economy. Life sciences was the first. Life sciences, first by far, very ambitious. I think the fact that distinguishes the vision probably from some of the previous government strategies on life sciences. It really has medtech as a fundamental element to it. And medtech, the ABHI, your member companies were fundamental in shaping the vision and shaping our commitments across the whole suite of products. So hopefully it really speaks to the companies who are listening and watching this.
Well, that's great. It's really good to know, Alex, and I'll have my personal thanks there. Those listening to and watching this who contributed, gave so much of their time. So lastly, Alex, you mentioned a series of missions in there about the sort of, there's kind of intransient parts of health and care we've been struggling with. Just give us a word on what the missions are all about, maybe what they are.
Yeah, so the missions are basically premised on the Vaccine Task Force demonstrated a way to bring new technologies to market, and then use them at scale in a rather different way than has been done previously in the UK. So the missions really came directly from the PM's office as an idea. And really they were to say, in COVID, we've demonstrated that by fusing the best of the private sector, the best of academia, and the best people from the NHS, we can accelerate new products to market more quickly in areas of great healthcare need. And can we kind of bottle that COVID spirit and apply it in some other areas? So we've got 8 healthcare missions. We have 7 from the life science vision, and they cover dementia, cancer, vaccines, obesity, respiratory disease, aging, and mental health. And then when the government's drug strategy was published in December, we got a sort of bonus mission focused on addiction. Now, some of those lend themselves very well to medtech, some of those lend themselves more to pharma, some of those lend themselves more to basic science. And what we're doing at the moment across all of them is to work out who are the sort of interested industrial partners in each area who might want to sort of participate. So if you are sort of a firm listening to this and you think in one of those areas, I have a technology that's either on the market and I think it should have a greater role, or a product that I want to bring to market and I'm interested about how I might be able to work as part of this mission to bring it to market more quickly, working with others in the private sector, the NHS, and people in academia and government, then we'd basically be delighted to sort of get in touch and think about how we can build you into the sort of consortiums we're trying to build up on each area.
That's great. That's really exciting, Alex. Actually, so obviously, people stay tuned to us here at ABHI. We'll keep people updated on that. Anything else people should do, and the sort of timescales they might expect, and sort of stuff they might want to look out for?
So I think on the mission specifically, we are really shaping them probably over the first half of this year. And as I said, anyone who feels they may have something to contribute, please do get in touch. More broadly, we are certainly working with the NHS, with NICE, and with the MHRA to think about the medtech pathway more broadly, because we know that doesn't work as well as it should do. So we'll really be taking a concerted focus on that over the next few months as well, working really closely with the ABHI, working really closely with firms out in the sector to make sure that we're genuinely improving the ease of getting your new products to market and in use at scale in the NHS.
Alex, that's great. So what we'll do, we'll make sure we've got a link and an email address that goes out with this, so people who want to contact OLS directly are able to do so. But that's brilliant. It's been great to speak to you there. We should come back actually, maybe as this work progresses, perhaps focusing on one or more of the missions. Apart from that, just thanks so much for finding the time to join us today, and thanks also for the fantastic work you and the team at OLS do on our behalf. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Richard. Great to be with you.